Hey there, welcome back. We are good to go. So, what we did in the previous video was to deal with the API fetching. So, we are ready to get information back. So, we are fetching data using the endpoint that we wanted to use, and we are using our own API key, of course. So we are fetching the data and then we are getting the data back. So inside these fetched articles, I have access to the information sent by the API. Okay. So let's test this. Let's see if we are really getting data. So I'm gonna just refresh this really quickly, and I can go. So this is the information, and I can go here, I guess, and I can say console.log, and I hope to log out to the console like the news articles that are available to me. Okay, let's see. There you go. So if I have 10 articles, as we can see, because it's an array, so they start in a 0, so they are 0 indexed based, because it's an array. So I have 10, and we can check by the length. I'm not sure if you can really see that or not, so I'm gonna zoom a bit. So we have 10. Okay, so my array contains 10 different articles that we will be using inside a component where we will start rendering the information on the page, because up to this moment we created the interfaces, we handled the fetching of the information, and we got the response back, all of that, but we are not rendering any information on the page yet. But we can confirm now that this is working, and this is good. Okay, so I'm gonna just remove this, we don't need it anymore. Boom, should go away now that I'm gonna, and I need to also put the zoom back to what it was. Cool, so now we need to go and start playing with components. So at the root of the project, I'm going to create a folder called components. Okay, and inside my components folder, I will have two core components: the individual article that will get all the props, and the responsive grid. And then I will pass the article, each article, inside the grid. It's confusing, I guess, so I'm just gonna start by focusing on this one, which is how we are going to handle the new article. How are we going to add a new article, basically? So I'm gonna start by creating a file, and the file name is AddNewArticle.tsx, because this is TypeScript. The file extension is tsx. If we were using just React, it will be JSX. Okay. So I don't forget all the imports that I need. I'm just gonna copy paste them. Okay, and then I'm gonna give you a super short explanation on them. So this is what we did so far. I'm importing what we started videos ago, our first interfaces. Okay, and then I'm just importing some Chakra UI stuff, because this is the UI, the front end, and this is how I'm gonna be styling the information that I'm getting back. Okay, and because we have images inside these APIs calls, we need to use the image component from Next, and because each card it's clickable, so if you click anywhere on any card you will open the specific news. So this one I clicked, I opened this specific one. Okay, for that reason we need to use the link component. Okay, and then I have the placeholder image, because if you've been watching this from the beginning, I told you that this URL to image can be tricky. That's why I also added the question mark. I'm not really sure if I'm doing this in the best possible way to handle these potential scenarios or not. So if I'm doing this wrong, let me know. If you have any other suggestion, just try to leave a comment and let me know if I'm doing it right or not, because to be honest, I am not so experienced with APIs and even TypeScript, to be honest. So I'm just trying to learn, and I learn and I try to teach, because this solidifies my own knowledge. Okay, back to this. This is the placeholder image that I will be passing. Oops, sorry, I didn't want to do this. That was not my intention. So I will be rendering this image if for any reason a given article does not have a valid image. I will render this one instead, so the app doesn't break and we can still see the content on the page. Okay, this endpoint BBC is quite safe, but Donald Trump's endpoint, trust me, it's a nightmare. At least I tried to use it and the images were constantly breaking, so the app was constantly breaking, and I then decided to use BBC News endpoint instead. Okay, I'm not really sure if this is gonna work in 100%. Probably it will, but still I'm not really sure if this is the best approach to solve this potential problem. So let's see how it goes. Okay, cool. So let's start by defining the types of the props that I'm going to be passing inside the component. So let's just say the user interface, usual interface, I mean, and I'm gonna call it new article props. As you can see, I tend to be very, very descriptive with my naming conventions and all of that, classes, interfaces, whatever. Although sometimes I end up with long names, I think at least I can look at my own code later on and I can look back and forth and I understand what's going on. Might take a few minutes or more, but I think it's a good way to have self-descriptive naming conventions for pretty much everything. Okay, so I want my article, there you go, not that one, article, and then I want to this is the syntax. I'm just doing this because this is the syntax. I'm just copy pasting. There's not much to say about it without confusing you too much, so just follow me and you should be fine, and the code by the end should work. Now this is going to be tricky. I think I can run, I don't think I can do something SFC, can I? Okay, I can, it kind of helps me. So I'm gonna say now I'm gonna be creating, this is where I am going to be creating the individual news article per se. Okay, so I'm gonna call it add new article. So I can say add new article. Once again, I'm being very descriptive because this is what I want to do. I want to add a new article with the help of the API, right? Because I'm getting the information from the API. So now I'm gonna have I'm gonna open object, because inside this I need to pass the props. So I'm gonna grab this article right here. Hopefully I will not mess this up. And then I can say title. And we know this by heart by now, right? We checked all of this, okay? Title, and then description, URL to image, published at, and author. Of course, I need, because this is, of course, this is TypeScript, so we need to do some extra work, which is going to be this. This syntax, it's a bit annoying, I know, and I think I'm messing up already. Add new article. Let me see, let me think. Article, blah, blah, blah. URL to image, published at, author. Okay, and I have this new article props. So I say, I already made a mistake here. Okay, new article props, and then arrow function, and then I need to return something, so I'm gonna just say article. This is nothing, just to check this is all good, because I don't see any errors. So I think this is all good. Yeah, looks like, don't see any errors anywhere. So I think this is good. So I'm basically passing the props, the article props, inside my component. Okay, I'm actually destructuring this. Okay, and now I need to do plenty of things. So I think I will start by, before my return, I need to handle this string with the date. Not only that, but I need to handle that, then I need to handle this also a bit. So we see it here, the date. Okay, not the full date, but yeah. So I think this return, before my return, I need to do stuff. So I'm gonna start using comments, otherwise I will definitely get lost. Okay, sorry, but this is how I do stuff. So I'm gonna say date string from API response. Hopefully this will also be helpful to you. So I'm just gonna say let date from API, because it's the date from the API. Okay, equal a new date. Oops, a new date. Okay, but I will be passing the published at. I will be passing this string. Okay, Then, so I'm passing the full string, and now I need to start like extracting bit by bit, and then I can render it. So now that I pass it, I want to do what? I want to get the month, which is June, which is 6, okay, as text. I do not want a number, so I want like June. We are in June, so I will get June, okay, and not a number, and not a number, okay. Basically, dates, handling dates and working with dates in JavaScript, this is just a full chapter. Like, I mean, you can really do a tutorial on this. You can learn this on the side. This is like a subject inside a subject. So I'm not gonna explain much about it. Otherwise, this will get too long and too confusing. So just follow me and code along, and you will see the results happening. And if there's a problem or error, we'll work on that together, okay? So now I want to get the month, so I'm gonna say let month, oops, not caps lock, sorry, let month name, let month name equal to a new, and this is like, gosh, I gotta copy paste this. I did copy paste this from I don't know, Stack Overflow bit of code example. I'm not really sure, so I'm not gonna bother too much to type all of this out and maybe make a mistake. So and then I say let, and now I want to get the long version of the month because I want to get June. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. So I'm going to say month, and I'm going to say long name, super descriptive, equals month name, and I'm going to be passing my date from API. So basically, inside my date from API, I'm passing the full string, this string right here, the publish it at. So this publish it at is here, and I'm passing that to this variable. And then I'm passing the same variable here, but I just want to extract the month name, okay? That's all I want to do, okay? In this case, it needs to be June because we are in June, okay? Now we need to get the year, because I have the full string, the month, and I need to get the year because I don't have the day, sorry, I just have month and year. So, and we also need to handle this other thing, which is just a bit of custom CSS. So we can do that also here before returning stuff, of course. So I now need to get the full year, so 2023, okay? And I'm gonna say let get year equals this is actually the same thing, a new date, and I'm passing the same variable, and then I'm gonna say let only year, just to be very specific, because this is what I'm gonna be using, this is what I'm gonna be rendering. I will be rendering this variable on the front end, and I say get year, boom. no, but this one is tricky, so it's not get here like that. I need to say get here, and then I say get full year. Yeah, this is, I think this is gonna work. Okay, and now we are gonna handle this other effect, this silly other effect. Nothing really impressive, it's just to let you know on which article you are hovering on. So I'm just gonna say const card on over. Don't think I need any I don't think I need any comment for this one because this is so easy. And there you go, and I say on other, and this is how you do it. This is how you, well, it's the way I do the other using Chakra UI. I think I know another way, but I cannot really remember now. I think I'm confusing it with Tailwind CSS. I'm not really sure. And then I say background color. I'm just going to be inverting stuff, right? So I'm going to say black. And then this is an object, so comma, color, white. We will not see this yet because we are not still rendering anything yet. We'll be rendering information inside this return where the article placeholder hard-coded word is. So we will not see anything yet, of course. Okay? So, but we are preparing ourselves to handle with all of this information. And the next thing that we need to handle is the image. And this is tricky. This is tricky. I'm not so confident. I might be doing this right. I might be doing this wrong. I am not 100% sure. So I'm basically using a ternary operator, and I'm just checking if I consider the image to be valid. And what I'm trying to do is, if the URL to image, which is this, if this starts with HTTPS, because I think this is what breaks some images, not having HTTPS and just HTTP. I think that's a problem, but I'm not sure. What I'm trying to do is I'm gonna check this, and if this contains, if this string starts with HTTPS blah 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 blah, then I accept it as a valid image URL. If not, I don't take risks and I render that placeholder image that I showed you before. This one right here. That's my plan. Let's see how it goes. So I'm just gonna copy paste. This is just a basic ternary operator, so there's no point to really spend much time on this. Okay, this is what I just explained it to you. And now the fun / art part, in a way, will start, because now we will start seeing stuff inside inside the return. Let me see. I think I confused myself already, but I'm gonna do a test title. What happens? Of course, I cannot do it like that. What am I forgetting? Of course, no, not like this. I'm confused. This gets passed inside another component. Just forget it. I'm just typing and thinking and making mistakes. But just ignore this. Just go back a few seconds. So inside my return, I'm gonna actually use the box component from Chakra UI. This is the equivalent to div in hold on a second, in regular HTML, and all I want to do is this, and then I'm gonna say this, and this box, now we need to start giving styles to this. So I'm gonna give a vertical padding, so padding Y of 10, not an array, I want an object, okay, of 10, there you go. And then because I want the user to be able to click anywhere on the card to turn, as you can see, the cursor. So you have the arrow, and then you have the little hand icon to tell the user, okay, this is interactable, you can click here, so anywhere. Okay, as long as you see black, you will be able to click and open the article. Okay, so I want to have the link. I need to have a link component, and I have imported that already at the beginning. We did that already. So link. Okay, so this will wrap everything, and because it's a link, you need to pass in the href, and the href is going to be the URL. Where is it? This one, because this is the page URL. And then I want to give a target of blank. Just gonna copy paste so it's a tiny bit faster, because I want to open it on a new tab. Okay, and then I need to start playing with the card. The card component is like kind of a wrapper for the card content. So I'm gonna have a card, and then inside the card I will have plenty of stuff. So it's a bit faster for this card. I'm gonna simply copy paste a bunch of properties that you can see on the screen. And once again, I think this is not so hard to understand those properties. So I will not go over this in detail. And then the card is like this wrapper for all the card content, but inside the card we have the header, the body, and the footer. So this is what we are going to be doing now. So I'm gonna be copy pasting this card header, and as you can see, inside the card there's the header, and the header displays the title. There you go, a title, whatever title, it's dynamic information. This title is coming from here, right? Okay, cool. So next we have the card body that will contain the image, and we will pass the valid image URL and not URL to image, because we are saying if it's this, give me that, if this is true, give me that, else give me that. So this is what we need to pass. So inside the card body, what is it? So header, let's see if I do not lose myself. Card body, once again, I have the image with plenty of props. The source, the width, the height, and the halt are totally mandatory. Otherwise, you will get a warning message, right? So I can just, no, this is not a good moment to do that. But trust me, if you delete these, you will get like a warning message at least. Anyways, let's not waste time. I always say this and then I always end up wasting time. Okay, and then the card footer, and this is where we'll be handling this. As I said to you in a previous video, by default, the author for this endpoint is always BBC News. But in other endpoints, like Donald Trump's endpoint, you get like journalist A, journalist B, journalist C. and sometimes there's no information, and you do not want to have like this blank, like June 2023 by, and then a blank thing, and then just a dot. You do not want that. You want to either render the information that is coming from author, okay, or you want to handle this in a way that if you do not get the information, then you get you render author not found, because the UI looks way better and more professional. And it's a nice thing for you to do, a nice trick also. So then the card footer, I'm gonna copy paste also. Sorry, I do not want to make this video so long, so it's simple. Okay, card footer, and as you can see, now we can actually see what I was trying to say. Okay, so basically this is like a div, equivalent to a div, and then the link that takes to whatever URL we are getting wraps the full card, right? And this card is kind of like a wrapper. Inside the card you get the card header, the card body, and the card footer. Okay, card footer, for example, is all of this information about month here. And notice that I'm using the long version. Okay, so I get June and I get the year. Okay, and I can uncomment this, I guess. This was for myself, but I can uncomment this and maybe refresh. Let's see what happens. Oh, sorry, I was in the wrong place. Oh, sorry. Silly me once again. I'm not yet rendering anything. I got confused because I was looking to the real project, sorry. But we will be able to test this out. Okay. Just trust me. I wanted to compare, I wanted to show you the difference. This will give you the full string. I cannot show you now, but I can tell you. Publisher that gives you this full string, exactly this content. And this is if we only go and say, give me this, okay? Or doing things this way, like month and year, you end up with this format, which looks way better. And then to handle the author part, once again, we just use a simple ternary operator. So we basically say if author is true, if there's content, if there's information inside the author string, if it's true, if there's content, then you render it, whatever information is there, BBC News, okay? Else, because this is the equivalent to the else, if there's no information, if it's false, you render this bit of text, author not found, which means you can always handle both scenarios. And I think I'm not forgetting anything. I don't see any errors, so we are good to go, I believe, because now all we have to do is to create the grid and then pass in this component inside the grid, the responsive grid that we are going to be creating, because the project, as I showed you before, is obviously responsive, so we need to create the grid and then pass in this component, and this component is any of these cards. Any of these cards represents this component. And then we need to render it all inside our index page, because sorry, I'm a bit lost. We need to go here and then render the grid. So we now, in the next video, we will be creating the responsive grid that will contain this component, and then we will call the responsive grid component inside our root, so we really start to see information. Because at the beginning of this video we checked in the console that we were getting information back, but we don't see anything on the screen because we are not yet rendering anything. Okay, we are just creating the component that does that for us. Okay, so thanks for watching, keep watching, and I think we only need like 2 more videos and this project will be finished. So it's a long project, it's a hard project for me as a beginner. I struggle to do this, to be honest, but I'm just learning and teaching at the same time. This is my method. I hope you guys enjoy it, and if you did like what I do here, just leave me a comment, subscribe maybe, I don't know, or leave me a like, whatever you feel that is good. And yeah, that's it. I'm a bit lost, to be honest. So thanks for watching one more time, and I will see you in the next video where we will be creating the responsive grid. Okay, bye.